What's up, everybody? Welcome back to reviewing the FIBO tapes. I look like an elf with this hat on, and we got a double feature with the Helvetic Mercenaries and Clone Centurions. This is basically the same video, and for this one, I'm going to try and not talk so much about the players. I'm going to talk more about the ownership, because the reality is the players and coaches were completely failed by the ownership. That being said, we're going to start with Colonge, then go on to Helvetic, and I might go on a little bit of a rant at the end. But this one, I'm going to try not to be too depressing, right? We got football. The players deserve... If you're watching this, one of 20 people that watches my videos, and you know a Helvetic or a Colonge player, just send them some appreciation, because damn, they went through a lot, even behind the scenes. I was talking to some people in the last couple of weeks that were just telling me about it. That being said, let's talk about these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned both of them by names, almost as if you predicted it. Carlos Hill and Isaiah Weed. We'll start with Isaiah Weed. Such an unpredictable player. You're either getting NFL MVP Isaiah Weed, or you're getting 8th tier of German Football League Isaiah Weed. There's no in between. You're getting one of them. You don't get to pick, and it might differentiate between every single player.
My man had the broadest range of performances in the entire ELF.
He really does. Sometimes he's throwing a beautiful piece, and then the other time he's thrown into triple coverage and getting picked off. He's unpredictable, but damn is he fun to watch.
Fun to watch.
Really fun to watch. And then Carlos Hill is fun to watch for a different reason. Blazing speed, so fast, such a good deep threat. Some of the best ball tracking I've ever seen in the ELF.
So Weed lived up to our expectations. He was explosive, but had moments of madness. And didn't really play much of the year while he was there, but he lived up to it. Carlos Hill was the one I'm surprised with. We didn't see him this year. I don't know why. I don't know why teams didn't sign him. He was really good for Colonge, and I really wish a team took flyer on him, especially in the mid-season to late season. And that was more so what I took from this is, damn, why the fuck did we not see Carlos Hill after he was so good? Not sure why, but just the first, it's just weird, man. Like, it really was. I don't know why we didn't see him.
How about some of the players that they were able to retain, perhaps?
Yeah, so they haven't really got any, I'm going to be honest. We've got some players they're going to have in the future.
Okay.
Because the list of them retaining players isn't a thing. They really haven't done much, and I'll talk about that at the end. But here's the players they have got coming in. And now this is going to be a difficult one to analysis, because Jeremy Musa, I like what he brings. Austin Osborne, coming in from the GFL, he's not Carlos Hill. He's a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical. I think they're going to try and get him the ball, short and intermediate, just pick up those possession gains.
There's a lot of what ifs with Colonge, and one of them is Jeremy Musa. I was excited to see him play, but ultimately he never lined up with the team, left in the preseason, and that should have been foreshadowing. I remember in the preseason, I did get a message after he left from someone saying, we need help trying to find a quarterback for the year. I sent him 100 guys, 100 American quarterbacks that played in the ELF or in the GFL or in the IFL over the last couple of seasons. They didn't sign any of them. I'm not sure if they reached out to him. I know what they did, but they didn't listen to me. I did that just out of their own wanting to see them succeed. And they never, I don't think they even opened the document I sent them, to be completely honest. But, you know, it is what it is. I think Austin Osborne showed that he is a good receiver. I hope he gets another chance, whether it's back in the GFL or in whatever league we get next season. He was solid. Jack Jackson played a lot of the season injured. And then Alex, you know, he didn't have too many opportunities. Their defense was so poor. But, yeah, unfortunate situation for all of these guys. They never got an opportunity to really show it, except maybe Austin, because he did have some good games. It was just, what a year for imports for Colonge. I felt so bad for them during the whole year.
All right, with that being said, then let's take a look at their schedule for 2025. Now, Matt, you and I are going to go through this, and we're going to try and predict the outcomes of these games. Of course, I'll take the front half, you take the back half. Starting off with the Berlin Thunder. And you know, I think that there could be a little bit of competition here, but I'm going to go ahead and have them drop to the Berlin Thunder. It's going to be a loss. Raiders T-Roll, I just think they're going to be a little bit too strong, and they're going to also lose that game. Frankfurt Galaxy, Matthew McKay coming back. Could have a little bit of competition. We saw some nice games from between these two teams last year, but I think they're going to drop that to the Frankfurt Galaxy. Panthers. Gosh. DJ Irons, one of your favorite players in the league.
Absolutely.
I think they're going to take over, and they're going to beat Cologne, so we're going to drop that one as well. Stuttgart Surge, of course, which I have no implicit bias towards. This is a completely objective opinion. They will also lose to. And Paris Musketeers, I mean, we were just talking about it, man. This is a tough division. I have them also losing that. I have them starting off this season 0-6. Now, let's not
Flawless
get too
victory.
disappointed here, because remember, last year they started off pretty badly and they fought their way back to 500.
They did.
So what do you have for the back half of the season?
All right, well, we're going to start with the Panthers. Right? It's a tough team. You've got AJ Wendland, you've got Dan Burrell. It's a tough defense. I don't think they've got enough to overcome it. So I think it's going to be an L on their schedule there. And then they go with Berlin. You know, Berlin have a couple pieces. You know, we talked about Neville Kruger and the impact he has. I think he might be a problem for them. So I might go for an L here as well. It's a tough one to predict, that one. Galaxy, two very strong defensive backs. And I think that's going to cause a lot of issues for the quarterback. We'll go with another L on the Galaxy. I love Paris as much as the next man, so we'll go for another L there. Stuttgart, now this one could be close. I've still got a very talented team. But I'm still going to go for an L, I think. On that
Not
one.
looking good,
It's a tough
man.
one.
It's not looking good.
And then we got the Raiders Tyrrell. It's the last game of the season. You know, everyone's on the line. It's this or never. And it's going to be never, because they're going to lose again on the last day of the season.
Matt, this is what we like to call a bloodbath, okay?
And we're in
All red.
Cologne as well, so we might get jumped if anyone sees this.
Yeah, this is not good. This is kind of what I've been seeing in the stock market lately. Complete red every single day. Cologne, sorry that this is what we've got for you, but look, that's a kind of a gauntlet of a schedule. It's seriously a tough schedule.
It is.
So here's where I start my first of two rants. The Cologne Centurions players and coaches were completely fucked by the management of that team. To be honest, they never should have played. Like, let's be honest, they should have pulled the team just before the start of the year. I'm just being completely real. I know how it feels to not get paid for your work. And I don't know how I would have played a game knowing I could have got injured, I could have got concussed, visa issues were prevalent. I wouldn't have been able to do what these players did. Like I said, I know how it feels to not get paid. I didn't have to go and line up against the Raiders Tyrrell run game as a defensive tackle or as a linebacker, knowing that I hadn't been paid for any of my work. My visa might be expiring. My accommodation is unsure. I don't know how that feels, and I feel very sympathetic for these coaches and for these players that had to deal with that, especially for coaches too, man. Like, and for players obviously too. But like, some of these guys are leaving their families. Some of these guys are going from the States to Europe, and they have to deal with this. So for them, I'm sorry that they had to deal with this. Like, it's not even anything to do with me, but I'm just sorry that they had to go through that mentally and physically tough time. They deserved better. The coaches and players deserved better. And so did the fans. The fans of this team are some of the best in the league throughout all these years, and they deserved better as well. They were failed by management.
Start off, though, with some of the departures from this roster from the previous year.
Here we go. So Pierre-Yves Major, we've talked about him a ton over the last couple of days. He has left the team, which is massive. To have a defensive rookie of the year as a homegrown leave is as detrimental to anyone. And I struggle to find a player who's going to fill that spot in. We might get into that in a second, maybe a potential, but that's going to be a big loss. And then John Falk, the homegrown player of the year last season, big presence for that team, just not only on a leadership point, but everything on that team was around him. To lose him to retirement is a shame, but obviously a happy retirement to Falk, but I'm going to miss him.
So Pierre left for Madrid, unfortunately got hurt early. Did have the opportunity to meet him in Switzerland though, cool guy. But yeah, he got hurt, which is unfortunate. I think that the departure of Falk has aged very well. Falk was holding that team a lot for the Swiss talent that came to play for that team. He was holding it all together. When he left, there wasn't much leadership from the rest of that team from the outside looking in. And I think that was one of the reasons why a lot of Swiss players didn't want to come and play for this team this season.
Kind of excited for it, but give us the extensions here.
My extension list is short because they've not announced a ton, and it's just Milan Spiller. He is the only truly elite player they have. They have a couple of other really good starters, and now I'm going to get some messages from a certain player on that team. But Milan Spiller is the best of the best when it comes to he's the first 1,000-yard season for a European in history. Think of all the Division 1 players and CFL prospects we've had from Europe, all the amazing talent. And it was a kid that came from the third tier of Swiss football. The third tier.
But the Milan Spiller situation is crazy. I mean, we talked to him on ELF Live last year, did an interview with him. Soft-spoken, sweetheart of a kid. He's not even really physically imposing, but when you see him play on the football field, it's just incredible. So huge for them that they were able to retain him.
Them somehow keeping Spiller and then losing Spiller halfway through the years to GFL was just a sign that this team was fucked. Like, he is the best Swiss player. I mentioned it. 1,000-yard receiver, blah, blah, blah. Great player. Overall, great person. They lost him. They lost their, like, star child, their star boy. They lost him. He was gone. He left to the GFL as well. So, even bigger dent for the Mercenaries. Like, the fact they couldn't retain him, the fact he demanded his own release was big time. Like, you can't have your best Swiss players demanding to be gone from the team. He wasn't given his ability to shine, and ultimately, I'm glad he got some wins this season. He just won the GFL Championship. Congratulations to the Potsdam Royals on winning the championship in the German league, and I'm happy that Milan got his wins because he deserved better after dealing with the shit of the Helvetic Mercenaries over the last couple of seasons.
Keelan Cole, coming from the NFL, several years in the NFL, made a second contract in the NFL.
Yeah, that's huge.
Which is massive. Yeah, that's hard to do.
Very, very big.
Absolutely. Sharp cuts. Obviously, he's an NFL level athlete. Would have been there for 7 years if he wasn't. But here's a big thing, and here's a big question I want to pose to you. He's in his 30s. Does he still have it?
This is a very good question. I'm sure he still has enough of it. I bet he's probably not in his absolute prime, but he doesn't have to be coming over here. A bigger concern for me would be, oh, this guy played multiple years in the NFL to the point where he got a second contract, and now he's coming over to a franchise that had a lot of off-the-field problems. Is he going to struggle to adapt to that? And the drastic change from NFL to European, especially with the Helvetic Mercenaries situation. That would be my biggest question for him, is how he adapts and the attitude that he has towards that. If he's completely open to it, like, hey, new experience, I'm here to keep playing football. I also want to help some of these Swiss guys. I want to help turn this organization around. Awesome, will be great. If not, could be ugly.
I think Cole's performance, or lack thereof, is just this whole, it just shows the season for the Mercenaries overall. They get a 7-year NFL vet. I don't know how much they were paying him or what, but like, they brought him in to be the guy, and he was terrible. I know a lot of people put stuff on Weed not being very good there either, and the throws that he was performing were not very good. But Cole came in, he didn't look a pound over 140. He was wearing a trench helmet, baggy sleeves. Like, he didn't run routes like he cared. He didn't care. Like, that's fine. Like, you don't need to care about this. I'm sure he had his own issues within the team. That's probably why he didn't care on the field, which I understand. He then left, which is, again, completely understandable. If he was dealing with the shit the other players were dealing with, he probably didn't care, which is fine. He got a lot of criticism throughout the season, including from myself, for his lack of effort. But in retrospective, this team probably never gave him any reason to believe. So for that, I'm sorry he had that first experience with Europe was that. I hope him all the best, because boy, what a way to enter into Europe is with Helvetic. So I hope he's doing good.
So with that being said, let's take a look at their schedule for 2025. And if we can find anywhere in here to give these boys a win, all right? So I'll take the first half of the season, Matt. You got the back half, and
Sounds great.
It's a rough one. Nordic Storm, that's going to be a loss. Jadrian and Glenn's going to be too much. Even if it is a first-year franchise, they're too stacked. They're too experienced. Raiders T-Roll, that's going to be a loss. We just talked about them. Madrid Bravos, also going to be a loss, unfortunately. Then they got the bye week. And hear me out. This is a little bit of a chaotic wrench in the plan here.
Okay.
I'm going to give them a win against the Munich Ravens here.
Okay.
4 after the bye, okay? And maybe it won't happen, but if there's going to be some sort of chaos, Isaiah Weed going off for 600 yards, maybe he throws 8 touchdowns and 4 picks, I could see it being against Munich here, and they're going to pick up this win right here. Next 2 games against T-Roll and the Nordic Storm, 2 L's, so the front half of the season not looking too good. I got them at 1-5. Matt, give me the back half.
Wow, what about, I mean, their schedule, man. You look at us, a murderous row. You got the outer conference divisional games, which are hard, and then the central is just a cat fight in itself. Or the, not the central, right? I'm thinking 2024. What am I thinking? So, let's start with Paris. That's an L. It's a tough team. And then you got the Ravens. I think they're gonna be, say they do get this win against Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to come in with a little bit extra.
They're going to avenge their painful loss to the Mercenaries.
And they're going to put a big one on them.
There we go.
And then we got Madrid. Again, I like Madrid too much. Me and you both love that team. I think that's another L for them there. Now Prague. Prague's a tough one. I like Prague a lot. Prague also got 2 corners. They're going to be able to, you could just chuck both of them on Keelan Cole and call it a day. And then I don't really see what else they're going to be able to do about that. I'm going to take Prague to win that one.
Interesting.
So I'm going to be another L for them. And then another L to Paris, and then they come back, and then they take another L. So I think
whoa, we got an ugly one here, looking like a repeat of the 1-11. You got them not even splitting with Prague.
No, I like
sweeping
Prague.
them.
I like Prague. I'm a big fan.
I have a little bit of a pushback on that, but I'm actually going to save that for when we talk about Prague.
Yeah.
So, if everything goes like this, it's not going to be very pretty, and even that Ravens win right there is a wild card. Not sure how realistic that is. Hopefully, they'll be able to prove us wrong.
They did not. They lost every game, same as Cologne. But it just shows a bigger problem within European American football. And I'm not just calling out the 11, I'm calling overall American football in Europe. We need to start vetting ownership. And we need to start vetting people that are in charge of these organizations. The fact Helvetic had guys running out of visas. Yeah, guys working on tourist visas. And this isn't a thing that's exclusive with Helvetic. I know that Barcelona did this last year. Like, it's very documented that ownership groups within European American football have been horrendously poor. Some of them great, some of them amazing. You hear the best things from certain teams like Vienna or from Rhine, but they don't have any issues like this. They do the proper paperwork, they get players in. Nordic was a good example of that. It's not easy to get visas into some of these places, but this is why you invest in it. This is why you get someone who's professional and proficient and can actually get this done. It's very clear that some teams didn't do this. Helvetic and Cologne are just the biggest examples. Cologne were so late to the party. I don't think they started recruiting until January. Or maybe even after. But it was really, really bad from them. Really, really bad for Helvetic. I think the ownership groups deserve to be called out. I don't usually do this kind of stuff of calling out people. I don't call out players very often. Like, I don't call out coaches very often. But in this, you just need to set an example. Like, the ownership was fucking awful, and they should be ashamed. They put coaches and players and fans through hell. Some of the stories I was hearing, man, were just awful, and I'm not going to tell people's business, but I had some seriously dark moments explained to me about this season, just the problems that people had, and a lot of coaches have came out, especially the Helvetic side, and expressed, so you can go and watch their stuff if you want a whole breakdown on it. But yeah, it just wasn't good, and I don't think anything like this should ever happen again. I think this should be the last time we see this, especially in the European League, the European League of Football, or the EFA, or whatever the fuck happens. I don't know. I'm not being I don't know what's going on with either of those, or what's going to happen, or who's going where, but we cannot have this happen again. Like, it's unacceptable. Ownership needs to be vetted. Like I said, we need to have due diligence. We can't let anyone in. Just because people throw a bit of money around doesn't mean they're going to pay players. That's what I don't get, right? The players should be the first fucking people you pay. That you don't have a product without the players. You cannot play American football games without players. That's just the facts. So why are you not paying them? I don't understand. That's been a problem for me for the last couple of years when it comes to this situation of how the hell players go unpaid. Like, in what world are they people that are not getting paid? I understand the situations with sponsors. Sometimes sponsors don't pay in time. Guess what? Vet sponsors. This is your job. If you're an owner or a GM or someone in charge of the team and you're blaming sponsors not paying, that's your fault. You should have a better example of vetting sponsors, having the money in a secure account that you can just pull from, guaranteed. It's in there already. It's not right. You can't do this, and it's just dragging all of European American football down. as a European that loves these players and these coaches and has so many great experience with so many great people. Some of the best people in my life are through European American football. It's hard to watch, and you've seen me go more towards college football, more towards the UFL, and that is because of this level of incompetency that we have seen from certain teams, certain people, and certain ownership groups. And I can't stand it anymore, man. Like, I'm trying to make a career out of American football and trying to be a scout and trying to be a media member, whatever. Decide what you want me to be. I don't really care. Like, I want one of them. I want one of those things. I want to provide for my family. I want to have a life with my girlfriend. I want to travel the world and meet these amazing people. But it's situations like Colonge and like Helvetic that stop me doing that. But the people that keep me doing that is you guys. It's the fans, it's the supporters of the channel. For you, I am eternally grateful, especially when I'm seeing what these players are going through, the situations they're going through. And this is completely unscripted. But yeah, thank you guys for everything that you give me. 10,000 views I got in the last 48 hours just on those shorts I was putting out about college football stuff. So I'm going to be leaning a little bit more into college football, a little bit more into UFL, because I have not been approached by either side. This is me being completely transparent, very off script. I have not been approached by either side as of now, which is currently on the 1/17 on the 12th of October. I've not been contacted by either side of EFA or ELF. I've not been paid for some of my work. And I just want consistency. That's all I'm asking for, begging for, is transparency and consistency. And these two teams are a great example of what not to do. And I hope they're used for the next generation of American football as case studies of what not to do. These two teams do plan on playing. I don't know what they do. I don't know if Colonge plans on playing. Helvetic has said they plan on playing.
And now you're leaving just like that.
I don't know how they do that after this season, after the last couple of years. To be honest, if I'm a player, I would advise against it. So, yeah, that being said, depressing end, 6-minute rant at the end. This one's going to be a long video, but it's a double header. I have all the other slightly more positive ones on a playlist, but I needed to get this off my chest. I've been holding on to this for a while. It's caused arguments between me and my relationships. I want to keep about the future of this league, and they keep asking what's happening, and I can't tell them. So, yeah, that's what I'm begging. This is me reaching out, begging anyone for any kind of answers about how we can improve. So, thank you guys. I'll see you next time. I'm not being as depressing next time, but this one was a sad one. In a bit. Thank you and goodbye.